Hi all, in this video we are going to look at the POB January 2026 paper 2. So the first question is, Maria is a student at Happy Valley High School. She wants to pursue business education but is uncertain of the career choices in the field of business. List 3 careers in the field of business that Maria could pursue. It's only 3 marks, so you don't really need to explain it too much, you just need to list it. We have accountant, marketing manager, and human resource manager. Next question is, list 3 stakeholders involved in business activities. For this, we chose customers, employees, and owners or shareholders. C asks, describe each of the following functional areas of a business. 2 marks each. We have production and research and development or R&D. So for each of them, we have production is a functional area of a business responsible for creating goods or providing services. It involves using resources such as labor, raw materials, and machinery to produce the final output. For example, so having an example is important. In a bakery, the production department mixes ingredients and bakes cakes for sale. Bakes bread and cakes for sale. Now for research and development. We have research and development is the area of the business responsible for improving existing products and developing new ones. It also involves testing ideas and finding better methods of production. For example, a juice company may use R&D to create a new flavor or reduce the sugar content in an existing drink. D is the adoption of a code of ethics is important for the successful operation of a business organization. We must now define the term code of ethics for 2 marks. So we have a code of ethics is a set of moral principles and standards that guides the behavior and decision making of members of an organization. It outlines what is considered proper, honest, and acceptable conduct in business. Question E goes, state 2 legal and or ethical practices that business owners are expected to adopt in the operations of a business. So with this, our explanation goes, our 2 practices would be pay employees fair wages and provide safe working conditions, and provide truthful information about products and avoid misleading advertising. From there, we must now explain one negative effect that could occur if a business fails to engage in each of the practices stated in EI. 6 marks, so this means 3 marks each. So failure to pay fair wages and provide safe working conditions. If we don't do that, negative effects would be, so if a business fails to pay fair wages and provide safe working conditions, workers are likely to feel undervalued and dissatisfied. As a result, they may lose motivation and put less effort into their duties. In addition, unsafe conditions can cause accidents and injuries, which may lead to absenteeism and disruption of work. Some employees may even leave the business in search of better jobs, causing high labor turnover. The business may then have to spend extra money hiring and training new workers. It may also face lawsuits, fines, or compensation claims for failing to protect employees. Overall, this can reduce productivity, increase costs, and damage the reputation of the business. And we also have failure to provide the truthful information. So if your business fails to give truthful information and instead uses misleading advertising, customers may be persuaded to buy a product that does not perform as promised. When they realize that they have been deceived, they are likely to become dissatisfied and lose trust in the business. This can result in complaints, requests for refunds, and negative word of mouth, which may discourage other persons from buying from the business. In serious cases, the business may face legal action or penalties from consumer protection authorities. As a result, sales may fall, profits may decline, and the image of the business may be seriously harmed. Right. Now, number 2 asks us to define the term collateral and then give 3 examples of collateral. 2 marks and 3 marks. So for the definition, we have collateral is an asset pledged by a borrower to a lender as security for a loan. If the borrower fails to repay the loan, the lender can take and sell the asset to recover the money owed. Three examples would be land, building a house, and a motor vehicle. Now we must list three elements of your business plan. They will just be the executive summary, the marketing plan, and the financial plan. Okay, C goes, Juan wants to establish a fast food business. He has been advised to conduct a feasibility study. We must now outline two reasons why it is important for Juan to conduct a feasibility study. So, to determine whether the business idea is viable. A feasibility study helps Juan find out whether there is enough demand for a fast food business in the area. It allows him to assess whether customers are likely to buy his products and whether the business has a good chance of succeeding. To reduce the chances of business failure, by examining factors such as costs, competition, location, and availability of resources, Juan can identify possible problems before starting the business. This helps him to make better decisions and avoid investing money in a business that may not be profitable. Now we must also identify one primary and one secondary source of information that Juan could use when conducting this feasibility study. So, for the primary source, he can use questionnaires or surveys of potential customers. And for the secondary source, he could use government reports or published market research data. Now, explain two factors Juan should consider when determining the location of his fast food business. So we have nearness to customers or traffic flow. Juan should consider whether the business will be located close to a large number of potential customers. A fast food business is more likely to succeed in a busy area where many people pass regularly, such as near schools, offices, transport hubs, shopping areas, or in the town center. When the business is easy to see and easy to access, more people may stop to purchase food, especially persons who want quick and convenient meals. High traffic flow can therefore increase the number of customers entering the business each day. This can lead to higher sales, greater revenue, and a better chance of success. Also, level of competition. Juan should also consider the number of similar fast food businesses already operating in the area. If there are many competitors nearby selling similar products, customers will have more options and Juan may find it difficult to attract enough buyers. Strong competition may force him to lower prices or spend more on promotion in order to win customers, which could reduce his profits. On the other hand, if he chooses a location where there are fewer competing fast food outlets, he may be able to attract a larger share of the market more easily. This would improve his chances of building a steady customer base and earning profits. Our third question asks us to identify two factors of production. So we have two factors of production are land and labor. Now we have to identify two major natural resources of the Caribbean. For this, we have petroleum and bauxite. Then we must name one industry developed from each of those natural resources identified in A2. So we have, for petroleum, oil or refining industry. Then for bauxite, we have the aluminium industry. Now we must define each of the following levels of production and state one example of each level of production. We have subsistence and domestic consumption. So for subsistence, we have subsistence production is production carried out mainly to satisfy the needs of the producer and family rather than for sale. For example, a family growing vegetables in its back garden for its own use. Now define domestic consumption and state one example. Domestic consumption is production of goods and services mainly for sale and use within the local market of a country. For example, a local bakery producing bread for sale to people within the country. Now C, which is to differentiate between production and productivity. Format. So production is the process of creating goods and services to satisfy human wants and needs. It refers to the actual output of goods or services by combining factors of production such as land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Now, productivity, on the other hand, is the measure of how efficiency, efficiently those resources are used in the production process. It shows how much output is produced from a given amount of input. Therefore, production is concerned with making goods and services, while productivity with how efficiently those goods and services are produced. Now we must look at the construction industry in Cocoa Island is experiencing a boom, but builders have reported a shortage of construction workers to meet the demand. Explain two factors that may have contributed to the shortage of construction workers in the Cocoa Island. So we have the rapid increase in demand for construction workers. One factor that may have caused the shortage is the rapid growth or boom in the construction industry. When many buildings, roads, or other projects are being undertaken at the same time, a large number of workers is needed to complete the work. If the demand for labor rises faster than the number of available workers, employers will not be able to recruit enough persons. As a result, a shortage of construction workers will occur, causing delays in projects and possibly increasing labor costs. We also have lack of skilled or trained workers. Another factor may be the shortage of persons with the necessary construction skills and training. Construction worker often requires skilled labor such as masons, carpenters, plumbers, welders, and electricians. If there are not enough trained workers in these areas, firms may find it difficult to fill vacancies even when jobs are available. This means that although there may be people looking for work, they may not have the required skills, which leads to the shortage of suitable construction workers. Number 4. We must now define the term marketing. So for 2 marks we have marketing is the process of identifying, anticipating and satisfying customers' needs and wants profitably. It involves activities such as pricing, promotion, distribution and product planning. Now for 4 marks we must list the 4 elements of a traditional marketing mix. Since it's only 4 marks, we don't really need to do much explanation, so we just need to list them because that's what they requested. So we have product, price, place and promotion. Now for 2 marks we must describe the marketing activity known as branding. So here we have branding is the process of creating a unique name, symbol, design or identity for a product so that customers can recognize it and distinguish it from competing products. Now, color is a critical component of a brand. Identify 2 other components that should be considered when creating a brand. For this one, we have brand name and the logo or symbol. C goes, Flavorful Distribution Co. means company, is about to launch a new fruit-based non-dairy ice cream. However, the managers are undecided as to the most appropriate type of packaging for the new product. For 4 marks, they would like us to outline 2 factors the firm should consider in determining the most suitable packaging for the new ice cream product. So we have the nature of the product. Since the product is ice cream, the packaging must be suitable for a frozen item. It should be able to keep the ice cream fresh, prevent it from melting too quickly, and protect it from leakage or contamination. And we must also consider the cost of packaging. The firm should also consider the cost of the packaging material. If the packaging is too expensive, this may increase the total cost of producing the ice cream and cause the selling price to become too high for consumers. Now our last one under this question is to explain 2 factors that could influence consumers' response to Flavorful's new ice cream. 6 marks for this one, so 3 marks each. So we'll talk about the price and the taste and quality. Price goes, one factor that could influence consumers' response is the price of the new ice cream. Consumers usually compare the price of one product with similar products already on the market before deciding whether to buy it. If Flavorful's ice cream is reasonably priced, many customers may be willing to try it because they will see it as good value for money. However, if the price is too high, especially when compared with competing brands, consumers may choose cheaper alternatives instead. This means that price can strongly affect the level of demand, sales, and customer acceptance of the product. Taste and quality. So another factor that could influence consumers' response is the taste and overall quality of the ice cream. Since ice cream is a food product, customers will pay close attention to its flavor, texture, freshness, and consistency. If the product tastes good and is of high quality, consumers are more likely to be satisfied and make repeat purchases. Satisfied customers may also recommend it to others, helping to increase sales. On the other hand, if the taste or quality is poor, customers may reject the product and avoid buying it again. Now, the last few questions, we have to now define the term business technology for number 5A1. So we have business technology refers to the tools and machines, systems and methods used by businesses to carry out operations more efficiently and effectively. It helps businesses process information, communicate, and deliver services. Now we have to identify two forms of technology and state how each form has influenced the services offered by commercial banks to their customers. So we have internet technology has influenced commercial banks by allowing them to provide online banking services. Customers can now check account balances, transfer funds, pay bills, and monitor transactions from any location with internet access. Mobile technology. So mobile technology has influenced commercial banks by making mobile banking possible. Customers can use banking apps on their smartphones to perform transactions such as sending money, paying bills, and receiving account alerts at any time. Now we must list 4 types of productivity tools and or specialist ICT applications used in business operations. So for this, we just listed them out. We have word processing software, spreadsheet software, database management software, presentation software. Now we must define each of the following terms: e-commerce and e-business. So e-commerce is the buying and selling of goods and services through electronic systems, especially the internet. It allows businesses and customers to carry out transactions online without meeting face-to-face. E-business refers to the use of electronic technology, especially the internet, to carry out a wide range of business activities. These activities may include communication, customer service, ordering, record keeping, marketing, and online transactions. Our last question now. In recent years, online shopping has increased significantly in the Caribbean. Explain one advantage and one disadvantage of online shopping to Caribbean citizens and or Caribbean economies. 3 marks each. So the advantage first. One advantage of online shopping is that it gives Caribbean citizens access to a much wider range of goods and services than may be available in local stores. Because many Caribbean countries have small markets, some products may be limited, expensive, or difficult to find. Through online shopping, consumers can compare prices, brands, and product features from different websites before making a purchase. This makes shopping more convenient since persons can buy items from home without traveling from store to store. In some cases, consumers may also save time and money by finding better deals online. And the disadvantage now. One disadvantage of online shopping is that it can have a negative effect on local businesses and the wider Caribbean economy. When consumers buy from foreign online stores instead of local shops, local firms may lose customers and sales revenue. If this continues, some businesses may make less profit, reduce the number of workers they employ, or even close down. This can increase unemployment and reduce the amount of money circulating within the local economy. As a result, while online shopping benefits consumers in some ways, it may also weaken local business activity and economic growth. That is the end of this paper. Thank you for watching.